I'm sending so much love to your light. So happy to be here with you on planet Earth, doing this wild dance of becoming new humans, um, ushering in this new Earth. It's all happening, and we are in the flux of it. So, what I wanted to talk about today was the completion of karma. So, welcome. We are completing karma. Karma itself is a third dimensional construct. So I know I've talked about this before, but the karmic load was always, coming in unconscious, forgotten, basically, as souls, and having these agreements from a soul contract of what we were going to repair, basically, from what we got wrong, I want to say, in the last expression as being a human. So the karma play, right? It's that density of like having to, like, it's debt. It's like being indebted, which is also part of what we're deconstructing in third dimensionality here on Earth plane, is that being debted, as sacred sovereign souls. You are fully expressed, and there is no debt to be paid. You don't have to pay the price to be in your full expression. You don't have to pay the price to thrive. And that's part of what we're deconstructing here in as the new earth is upon us. So part of how this karma play is showing up, and I know this is happening in my personal life, and I'm hearing it from a lot of my clients and friends, is around friendships and family. So if karma is completing in this cycle, then we must also understand that a good majority of our relationships were created to come together for their soul agreements and to fulfill karma. And when karma is complete, then the relationships themselves either rise up into this new frequency of being, right? Because what we're learning in higher dimensionality, in fifth dimension, is about being. It's about being and exploring and experiencing and co-creation, collaboration, unification. There's no debt to pay. And so as that matrix is crumbling, we're getting to, it's really playing out through relationships. And so if you're noticing that you're not finding the same satisfaction in your relationships, some relationships are falling away. Many relationships are falling away in many different expressions, through friends, intimate relationships, familial relationships. And that can be done with love. It doesn't have to be a dramatic kind of expression. But what's happening is that as we're feeling disconnected from the old, right? We're feeling disconnected from our old ways of being, from things that once brought us tremendous pleasure. Perhaps are just not satisfying at the cellular level in the way of which they once did, because this karma play is completing. And so we see that familial relationships are shifting and friend relationships are shifting. There's a disconnection. There's not as much satisfaction perhaps as once there was. And part of what all is happening, reason this is happening, is yes, the karma is completing, but it's also that we're bringing in our soul family. And soul family from a place that where your souls recognize each other, right? Where there's soul recognition, where nothing needs to be proven, nothing needs to be established. There's the divine knowing. When soul family enters, it's a cosmic relationship where you're like, hello, there you are. And it's easy and it's light filled and it's incredibly exciting and stimulating within your soul's memory banks. And so since we're cleaning up the karma, we're also being given opportunities to release some relationships or to shift relationships. Not everything has to be let go of, but the attachment to them as once it was needs to be released, so that people show up as they are showing up. We love and we make decisions based on what feels good, right? We're moving out of the matrix of the mind of thinking I should, right? Shoulding all over ourselves. Should is shame. And we move into this expression of like, what is true desire? What lights you up? What turns you on? Shallow conversations and surface play are not sustainable in this new frequency. And so that means that everything is rising or releasing. And when we do this, it's really to release with love. And it doesn't mean that you never speak to a person again. It just might mean that you find yourself moving in a different direction. You find yourself engaging in a different direction. And there's really something that's so important to understand about this is there is a pause within that. There's a pause to reorganize as everything is shedding, right? Everything must shed from the third dimensionality. It plays out on the inner plane, plays out on the global scale. We are watching deconstruction of pretty much everything that we had attached to. Spirit said this morning, everything that you had once attached to believe that you were safe, has to be reorganized to come into the authentic truth of what true soul connection and true source connectivity feels like. And that's what we're doing. And yes, it is a wild ride. We realign in the new, we release and we rise up. And not everyone and not everything are rising in the same frequency, or even in the same ballpark, right? And so there's this disconnect or this distortion that happens no matter where you are on earth plane in this evolutionary frequency, evolutionary sequence. We're all going through it. Every single one of us is going through this, and it's playing out in different ways. It looks different for everyone because we all have unique imprints, we all have unique soul prints, and we all have a unique journey of which we are walking upon to find our truest golden light expression. Here comes the age of Aquarius, the golden age. And I know for me personally, this is playing out in so many different ways, and it's incredibly uncomfortable. This chrysalis that I'm finding myself in is probably one of the most uncomfortable spaces that I have been in decades, if not my lifetime. And how do we walk that path and trust? Trust is the big word. So this is awakening. It's uncomfortable, it can be confusing, and it's rise or release time. So if you're finding that there's a discord or disharmony in any of your relationships, know that it is that perhaps the karma that once you had agreed to experience in this lifetime together has found its completion. And when we make space, what we're allowing is for our soul family to enter at the next highest level. And that reorganization brings us to our greatest expression, right? We are never alone. We are pure source connected to all things infinitely. And how we choose to play that out in earth plane reality is going to look different for all of us, and it's going to be different in all of the different expressions, right? Each step of the ladder, each click of the ladder that we step up to the next level of our sovereignty is going to give us a new opportunity. If you're climbing up a ladder and you're starting at the ground floor and you're climbing to a new height, each step you get a broader band view of what awaits you, of what's in front of you, of what's all around you, right? Each step up this ladder gives you greater sight, gives you greater expansion, gives you greater opportunity. And as long as we remember that, right, we're here to be remembered. We're in the remembrance of who we are at soul level. And the characters I want to say that play out on your stage are unique to that moment of what it is that you are experiencing. And as karma collapses, we created a lot of the characters on our stage based on the karmic play. And so we will see in time who the characters are that are in your soul tribe, in your soul family, in your soul familiarity, that are to meet you at the next level, right? And so sometimes we step up the rungs and some are still hanging out down here, and we love them, but we can't keep reaching down and pulling up and reaching down and pulling up. We have to let go at a deep level so that we can ascend each step of our own personal ladder. And then we get to the next level and we're like, oh, who are all these human beings waiting for me up here? And what you're seeking for, this is important coming through in this now moment, what you are seeking for is any place in your life where you feel as if you need to reach down to pull up, to bring those that you love with you. Are you willing to instead reach up for the hand that awaits you, that's here to pull you up to the next level. And this deconstruction can feel so destabilizing, but it's for you. It's for your highest good. It's for the expression and the incarnation of what wants to come through, to take you not to where you've been, but to where you're going. And to remember that is the magic sauce, or the formula, if you will, to get you through the times that can be really uncomfortable. No one said that birthing a new earth was going to be comfortable, but they always, my guidance for years is saying, we promise you it shall be worth it. And so here we are, deconstructing the old, release for the rise. You are never alone. And not everyone's coming along at the same time, and that's okay. Always with love, always with consciousness, always with curiosity, right? There doesn't have to be hard edges of letting go, but an expansive heart releases with love. You are so loved, and your contribution here on planet Earth is so greatly appreciated. Keep going. You're doing it. Rise, release, and rise some more. I love you. Have a blessed day.